evening everyone and welcome to the News Tonight, the show that gets you the day's top stories from politics to sports and everything in between. I'm Tracy Shilshi and let's start with the headlines. Sonia Gandhi leads a march of solidarity for former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, terms the court summons against him in the coal scam case an outrage. Home Minister Rajnath Singh tells Parliament the Jammu and Kashmir government has been told to pursue and reinvestigate cases against Hurriyat hardliner Masrat Alam. Aam Aadmi Party rejects horse trading charges against its senior leader, says there's nothing in the sting suggesting money was offered. Alright, now our top story. In a rare public outburst, the Congress stood as one behind former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh as party leaders led by President Sonia Gandhi marched from the ICC headquarters to the former Prime Minister's residence. This a day after Dr. Manmohan Singh was named as an accused in a coal block allocation case and summoned to a CBI court.
Congress President Sonia Gandhi leading party leaders in a march to the residence of former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. Singh's party colleagues marched from the Congress headquarters to his residence, an indication that the party stood as one behind the former Prime Minister. Manmohan Singh being named as an accused in a coal block allocation case has made the Congress party raise the cudgels against the opponents.
Outraged at the news that summons have been served to Dr. Manmohan Singh. He is our former Prime Minister. He is known not only in our country but throughout the world as being a person of integrity and probity. We have come here this morning to all of us, members of Parliament, to express our support to him, to give him our solidarity. We are fully behind him. The party is fully behind it, and we shall fight this not only legally but with all other means at our command. And we have no doubt whatsoever that he will be vindicated.
पूरे देश को गर्व है जिस ढंग से उन्होंने काम किया, उनकी नेकनियत, उनकी पारदर्शिता, उनकी निष्पक्षता, ये कभी कोई शंका किसी की नहीं रही. CBI given a report that there is nothing to connect with him with the offence. I don't know when that is so. How can all of a sudden this can happen?
The government believes that the CBI has acted independently. The CBI has already said that there is no criminal case. The government must stand up and say, we stand by the CBI's report. Why is the government reluctant to say that?
Almost from the ashes, he raised the country to this level where India is recognized world over today.
Dr. Manmohan Singh meanwhile thanked his partymen for standing with him.
I am very grateful to Sonia ji and all our senior colleagues who have unambiguously and come to the conclusion that we have to fight this battle unitedly.
The government, however, washed its hands of the whole affair, saying it had no role in the summons being issued.
The government has no role with regard to issuing of a summons or notice to the former Prime Minister of India. It was the judiciary which has taken this decision.
इन पर कौन सा दबाव था कि ये सही काम नहीं कर रहे थे, रोक नहीं रहे थे, जबकि उनके दिमाग में बात आई थी. ये बात पूर्व सचिव पीसी पारिक जी ने कहा है कि हमें करने जा रहे थे लेकिन हम नहीं कर पाए. तो क्यों नहीं कर पाए? तो
A CBI special court had summoned Manmohan Singh along with industrialist Kumar Mangalam Birla, former Coal Secretary PC Parak and 3 others as accused in a case pertaining to the allocation of Talibira 2 coal block in Odisha. They have been asked to appear before the court on 8th of April. Vishal Dahiya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Rajya Sabha has passed the Landmark Insurance Laws Bill 2015, allowing for raising the foreign direct investment cap in the insurance sector. The bill replaces an ordinance issued by the government earlier, making this the government's first big financial reform. The Congress and some other opposition parties supported the bill in the upper house, ensuring its smooth passage. The insurance bill has languished in Parliament for more than 6 years, and with the House witnessing heated discussions, it was adjourned twice. The bill was then taken up for consideration, and the previous bill was withdrawn by the Minister of State for Finance, Jayant Sinha. In fact, the insurance bill provides for raising the FDI cap in the insurance sector from 26% to 49%.
Why India should amend its legislation in order to allow 49% FDI, which will be detrimental to our economy, it will be detrimental to our insurance sector.
Sir, according to IRDA projections, now there is a serious need to increase insurance penetration in this country. The fact is that 26% was a beginning. Without that, nothing would have happened. And so the UPA government must be complimented for opening the gates so that this FDI started coming in. Now, having come in, I think it has devolved upon all of us, sir, all parties concerned, to now make a clear assessment of what has been the quantum, what is the requirement, and take a composite policy. And this bill reflects that composite policy requirement.
In the last 5 years, what has happened? Penetration has in fact dropped. Last 5 years it has dropped by 1%. Now their target is 3% in the next 5 years. Don't say we didn't warn you. This will never happen.
LIC is a sterling example of good governance, of good practices. But is one LIC enough? I am sure that LIC is doing a great job, but one LIC or one general insurance corporation is not going to be enough to serve the needs of such a large country. And therefore, in a larger context, when we look at all the different kinds of insurance products and instruments available, I think this is a notable and a laudable step which we, as in our collective wisdom as Parliament, should definitely support and take this to the next level, sir.
The way insurance works, honorable members, Mr. Chairman, sir, the way insurance works is as you build a book of insurance that you've underwritten, claims that you have to pay out, as you build the book on the one side of the accounting ledger, on the other side of the accounting ledger, you have to provision for it. You have to make sure, because of your solvency margin, that you always have sufficient capital to pay out. Now, if we didn't have one LIC, if we had 5 or 10 LICs, how much more money could we put into infrastructure? And that's what we're trying to enable with this legislation. That is the benefit we would get. And the regulations are there, honorable members, with Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir. The regulations are there so that we can assure you that the investments that are coming from the insurance companies, 15% of them have to go into infrastructure. So as this industry grows, this money is going to go into the infrastructure.
Meanwhile, the Union government has asked the Jammu and Kashmir government to keep a close watch on Masrat Alam and also asked it to reinvestigate cases against the separatist leader. Home Minister Rajnath Singh said this while informing the Lok Sabha about the state government's report on Alam's release. The House also unanimously passed a motion condemning remarks made against Mahatma Gandhi by former Supreme Court Judge Markandeya Kaju.
Home Minister ji,
The issue of separatist leader Masrat Alam's release echoed in Lok Sabha again today. Home Minister Rajnath Singh informed the House that Masrat Alam cannot be arrested again without the framing of new charges. The centre has now asked the Jammu and Kashmir government to put Alam under close watch and also re-investigate the cases already filed against him.
The Home Ministry, Government of India, has issued an advisory to the government of Jammu and Kashmir on the following lines. After receiving the information from the Jammu Kashmir government, all 27 criminal cases registered against Masrat Alam Bhatt should be pursued vigorously and steps also taken as per law to challenge the orders pertaining to grant of bail to him in such cases.
Congress MP Jyotiraditya Scindia claimed that the union government had not done enough to try and stop Alam's release during governor's rule in the state.
मेरा एकमात्र कल का प्रश्न है और आज वही प्रश्न है कि जब राष्ट्रपति शासन लागू हो तो केंद्र सरकार ने इस चिट्ठी के तहत फ्रेश ऑर्डर उस व्यक्ति के डिटेंशन के लिए क्यों इशू नहीं किया, इसका जवाब गृह मंत्री सदन को जरूर देंगे।
The lower house of parliament also unanimously adopted a motion condemning remarks made by former Supreme Court Judge Markandeya Katju.
उच्चतम न्यायालय के पूर्व न्यायमूर्ति एवं प्रेस काउंसिल के पूर्व अध्यक्ष श्री मार्कंडेय काटजू द्वारा दिया गया वक्तव्य अशोभनीय है। यह सभा स्पष्ट रूप से पूर्व न्यायमूर्ति श्री मार्कंडेय काटजू द्वारा दिए गए वक्तव्य की भर्त्सना करती है।
काटजू के द्वारा जो महात्मा गांधी और सुभाष चंद्र बोस जी के बारे में जो टिप्पणी की गई है वह हिंदुस्तान के मर्यादा के खिलाफ है। हिंदुस्तान और दुनिया इससे आहत हुई है।
I will appeal to the Honorable Home Minister who is there that it amounts to an hate speech or hate statement. Therefore, from the Delhi itself, a criminal case should be started against the retired Justice Katju for his hate speech. Let us see.
We accept the feelings, and it's absolutely such remark is a derogatory remark, and we do not accept it, and we appreciate the sentiments of the member as well as the House would appreciate this point that no one has the freedom to make such statements.
A motion condemning Katju's remarks has already been adopted by Rajya Sabha on Wednesday. Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Masrat Alam issue also came up in the Rajya Sabha. The Home Minister said that the centre has directed the Jammu and Kashmir government to challenge the bail to the separatist leader, and an advisory has been issued to the Mufti Muhammad Saeed government to keep close surveillance on Alam and his associates.
Home Minister Rajnath Singh informed the upper house that his ministry was unsatisfied with the Jammu and Kashmir government's report on the release of Masrat Alam. The centre has sought more clarification from the PDP-led government. The centre has issued advisory to the state government on Alam to pursue all 27 cases against the separatist leader vigorously. The advisory follows days of political sparring over the release. Rajnath said that the Jammu and Kashmir government will keep a hawk eye vigil on the hardliners with the help of central security agencies.
The Home Ministry has issued an advisory to the government of Jammu and Kashmir on the following lines.
Home Minister also clarified that fresh detention orders for Alam were not issued because there were no new grounds for detaining him as mandated by a Supreme Court ruling.
The Honorable Supreme Court of India had also in March 2013 observed that if any fresh detention order is issued by the government of Jammu and Kashmir with respect to Masrat Alam Bhatt, the same shall not come into force for a period of 1 week from the date of communication of the order to enable him to pursue appropriate legal remedy.
The BJP faced flack from the opposition parties over the issue. The opposition also levelled charge against the government that the decision was taken in February when the state was under the central rule. Both Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Rajnath Singh made statements in Parliament condemning his release. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Already battling in fights, the Aam Aadmi Party's troubles mounted further today over the sting operation alleging horse trading by party chief Arvind Kejriwal. Former Congress legislator Asif Muhammad Khan has accused AAP leader Manish Sisodia and Sanjay Singh of trying to buy off Congress leaders before the Delhi Assembly polls. However, AAP has rejected such charges.
A sting operation by a private channel has created fresh problems for Aam Aadmi Party. A day after the sting accused party chief Arvind Kejriwal of trying to lure Congress leaders, there were claims and counterclaims on the veracity of the tape. Former Congress MLA Asif Muhammad Khan alleged that it was AAP leaders and not the BJP who were in touch with Congress leaders before the Delhi Assembly elections.
संजय सिंह जी हाई कमांड हैं आम आदमी पार्टी के, हम मानती हैं आप, तो उनको कांग्रेस के हाई कमांड से बात करना चाहिए था। रिअलाइनमेंट एक छोटे से एमएलए से एक बंद कमरे में नोएडा में बैठ के रिअलाइनमेंट कर रहे थे संजय सिंह जी। संजय सिंह को रिअलाइनमेंट करना था तो आम आदमी पार्टी का हाई कमांड और कांग्रेस पार्टी का हाई कमांड रिअलाइनमेंट करता ना।
However, the Aam Aadmi Party leaders have rejected the charges of horse trading, but there are still no clear answers on whether such meetings had indeed taken place.
बिल्कुल आसिफ मोहम्मद ने यह कहा कि नितिन गडकरी से उनकी मुलाकात हुई है और उनके विधायकों की भी मुलाकात हुई है और उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि उप मुख्यमंत्री बनाने की भी बात उनकी ओर से हो रही थी, उनकी तरफ से कही जा रही थी। मंत्री कांग्रेस के लोगों को, वो बीजेपी मानने को तैयार थी, मंत्री बनाने की बात बीजेपी मानने को तैयार थी।
हमने तो कोई हॉर्स ट्रेडिंग की नहीं, हमने पैसे के आधार न बांटने की बात की, न हमने उसे किसी मंत्रालय देने की बात की, न हमने किसी तरीके का लालच देने की बात की है। उसमें सीधी सी बात यही है कि कांग्रेस के 6 एमएलए टूट कर आना चाहते थे, आम आदमी पार्टी को सपोर्ट करना चाहते थे।
Former AAP MLA Rajesh Garg, who accused Chief Minister Kejriwal of trying to poach the Congress MLAs, faced scathing reactions from the party. He was denied a ticket in the last polls for allegedly trying to blackmail some of the leaders, but he refutes all charges.
और मैं बड़े खुलकर कह सकता हूं कि मैं जो हूं, जो आपसे कह रहा हूं, वो 100% सच है, लेकिन बिना जांच के मैं किसी पर आरोप नहीं लगाऊंगा।
नहीं, वो तो कल भी बात स्पष्ट हो चुकी है। वो एक घोर अवसरवादी आदमी है, ऐसे बिन्नियों को, ऐसे शाजिया इल्मियों को, ऐसे राजेश गर्गों को झेलते रहे और हर बार हम इससे बाहर निकले हैं।
All eyes will now be on party chief Arvind Kejriwal, who is currently undergoing treatment in Bengaluru. He is expected to return to the national capital by the end of this week to a party which is in trouble at the moment despite an unprecedented victory in the Delhi Assembly polls just a month ago. With inputs from Annu Diwan, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, the BJP has decided to drop Union Ministers Smriti Irani and Najma Heptullah and MP Hema Malini from the BJP National Executive. Party President Amit Shah reconstituted one of the top party panels, inducting new entrants like Union Ministers Suresh Prabhu and Virendra Singh. Ministers VK Singh, Rao Inderjeet Singh and Subramanian Swamy were also included as members. BJP has retained all top leaders including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, L.K. Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi and senior ministers Rajnath Singh, Sushma Swaraj, Arun Jaitley and Venkaiah Naidu as the members. The National Executive is likely to meet in the first week of April in Bengaluru. Retail inflation rose further in February to 5.3%, registering a third straight month since it's been climbing. But there's some encouraging news as well. The index for the industrial output grew at 2.6% in January, improving on December's figures. Here are the details.
Retail inflation in the month of February this year rose to 5.37% compared to 5.11% in the month of January. Not good news, but far lower than the 7.88% in the corresponding month in 2014. The combined inflation rate for food and beverages stood at 6.76% for February, while combined inflation rate for fuel and light stood at 4.72% for February. However, there is some good news on the factory output front. Industrial output picked up with growth rising to 2.6% in January from December's 1.7%. Industrial production in January was boosted by a 3.3% rise in manufacturing and 2.7% increase in electricity output. But output in the mining sector contracted 2.8%. A plunge in global oil prices and weak consumption has driven down inflation to around 5% from double digits in 2013. Giving room to the RBI to cut interest rates twice so far this year to spur growth, and it remains below the RBI's inflation target of 6% for January 2016. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
A regional television channel in Tamilnadu, Pudiya Talaimurai, was attacked by unknown people today. Police officials said that 2 crude bombs were thrown into the office of the news channel. No one was injured in the incident. The bomb squad reached the spot and carried out a preliminary probe. Police personnel said that the image of attackers captured in the CCTV footage is blur and therefore unidentifiable. Earlier on Sunday, a camera person was attacked outside the channel's office by a few people. The attackers were reportedly opposing the telecast of a serial on the channel. An FIR has been filed in the case. Time for a quick break here. We'll be back with more news in just a bit.
Acts of omission or commission. A former Prime Minister in the dock. What does it mean for decision making? How will it affect future policies? Watch the big picture at 9:30 p.m. only on Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back. Let's get to the latest now from Prime Minister Modi's island nation tour. India and Mauritius signed 5 agreements today to enhance the bilateral ties and maritime security. India also offered $500 million concessional line of credit to Mauritius for key infrastructure projects. The two countries also agreed to work to prevent misuse of double taxation treaty to evade taxes.
India and Mauritius signed 5 key agreements on the last day of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit. There were deals to provide a framework for cooperation and sustainable development in the Indian Ocean region. The two nations also agreed to cooperate in the field of traditional system of medicine and homeopathy, program for cultural cooperation and a pact on import of fresh mangoes from India. India and Mauritius also want to improve sea and air transportation facilities at the Egalega Island. India also offered $500 million concessional line of credit to Mauritius for key infrastructure project. Both countries also agreed to continue negotiations on revising double taxation treaty. Mauritius in turn offered India cooperation on information exchange on taxation.
Today, I was pleased to offer a concessional line of credit of $500 million for civil infrastructure projects for Mauritius. We have offered support for construction of the second cyber city.
India will assist Mauritius in developing itself into a state ocean economy. India will help Mauritius improve the connectivity with its outer islands with focus on the building and upgrading of sea and air transport facilities in Agalega.
Narendra Modi was also the guest of honor for the National Day celebrations in Mauritius.
The outcomes and decisions today are truly significant. We discuss our shared interests in a safe and secure Indian Ocean and a stable and prosperous Indian Ocean region. We value the leadership by Mauritius in this area.
After Mauritius, Modi will be in Sri Lanka on the final leg of his 3-nation tour. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
That's right. Prime Minister Modi is expected to be in Colombo tomorrow, and Akhilesh Sumana correspondent, in fact, joining us now from Colombo. Akhilesh, can you give us a sense really of what is going to be the big point? Of course, the fishermen issue. Do we see both sides getting to it immediately?
Yeah, actually, as you know, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is coming after 28 years. Any Prime Minister could come to India, could come to Sri Lanka. There were internal political problems in India, and also you know that there were internal political strife, there violence, ethnic violence, and civil war going on in Sri Lanka. So this was the reason that Indian high-level officials could not come. But this time there is a great emphasis on maritime security and also joining the blue economy of the whole Indian Ocean. And in this visit, as you know, that earlier India was mostly present in the northern region of Sri Lanka, but this time I think during the Prime Minister Narendra Modi visit, some announcement will be for southern region of Sri Lanka. So in a way, the lanes between India and Sri Lanka also will be secured, and other lanes above Sri Lanka that is going to the Indian nation India will keep an eye on this region. So in this way, if you remember Prime Minister Xi Jinping, Chinese President Xi Jinping visit to India, that time a Chinese ship was stationed in Sri Lankan port, and that has realized that India has realized that there is a need of naval security in the whole region, and I think that Prime Minister visit is going to be very important for this from this point of view. Yeah.
All right. Tomorrow is going to be a crucial day. We'll come back to you. Thank you so much for joining us for those details for the moment. All right, now in news from racially sensitive Ferguson town in the US, 2 police officers suffered bullet wounds during a demonstration after the resignation of the town's police chief. He quit after a damning justice report that accused his department of racial bias. The incident again exposes deep mistrust between Ferguson's black community and its police department after an unarmed African-American teenager was shot by a white police officer last year.
Amateur video of the aftermath of the protest. The violence at American city of Ferguson is once again back in focus. 2 police officers were shot and injured during a protest at the police headquarters in the racially sensitive town. The demonstrations began as a celebration of the police chief's resignation and gave way to violence and gunfire between protesters and police. Both officers were admitted to hospital with serious gunshot wounds.
At midnight, the crowd was starting to break up. In fact, several of the officers had left the area, and to the immediate northwest of the Ferguson Police Department, several shots were fired, at least 3, and 2 officers were struck. A St. Louis County officer was struck in the shoulder, and a Webster Groves police officer was struck in the face.
Police Chief Thomas Jackson had resigned Wednesday after a justice report pulled up his department for racial bias. He had come under fire almost immediately after the death of Michael Brown, an unarmed black teenager shot dead by a cop last year. Protesters had been demanding his resignation for months. Police officials admit the work environment for policemen in the area remains tense at best.
You know, we have had an occasion to be involved in many of the events in Ferguson since Michael Brown was killed, and I think we've been very fortunate as we've moved forward not to have similar instances like this happen to us. But I have said all along that we cannot sustain this forever without problems. This is a very, very, very dangerous environment for the officers to work in.
Several protest demonstrations have racked Ferguson after Brown's killing last year. Wednesday's incident is just another indicator of the tensions in the town, always on the brink of erupting. The flurry of reports slamming the police department and the resignations in their wake have hardly mended matters. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Right, on to cricket now. In the ICC World Cup, skipper AB de Villiers led from the front with an all-round show to help South Africa thrash minnows UAE by 146 runs and put his team's Cricket World Cup campaign back on track in its final Pool B encounter today. The Proteas made 341 for 6 with skipper AB de Villiers striking a blazing 99 and then picking up 2 wickets. Farhan Behradeen contributing 64 from 31 balls. In reply, UAE were dismissed for 195 in 47.3 overs with Swapnil Patel making 57 not out. The South Africans are now second in the pool, led by India, who still have a match to play against Zimbabwe. However, the final standings will only be known after the Pakistan-Ireland and West Indies-UAE clashes on Sunday. That's it for the moment from us. Thanks so much for joining us.